What's up, party people? Glad to be here yet again. Another beautiful day.
Another beautiful day. What's up, everyone?
There we go.
Hey, KJ's in the house. What's
Awesome.
up, KJ?
Got KJ in the side chat.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go.
Joel, El Chino. What's up, guys? Look at this bomb logo that someone came up with. It looks nice.
No, it's looking good. It's looking good. Love
What's up,
it.
Darth
Martha
Vader?
says, how's the baby? The baby is doing great. She is quite annoying over the past night. We still love her, but man, oh man, she just was crying all night. So it's been an adjustment for sure, for sure. But we're still out here every day. Oscar and I, we've been working all day, dealing with some behind the scenes work. So super excited for everything that we got going on, guys. But today is about you guys. Q&A. Whatever you've got, hit us with it. You know how today works. You ask the questions, we answer the questions, and we just make stuff happen. So we're just gonna keep talking until we get some questions in the chat. They missed you today at the meetup, Oscar.
Oh,
That's
there
what
was a
Joel
meetup today?
said. Yeah, I guess so. I guess so.
Oh, sorry, I missed the meetup, man.
Look, and oh, not that one. This one. What a great day today. Found someone with 400K. Beautiful. Way to go, Joel. Good stuff, bro. Good stuff. Minnesota. You know it. Bringing the ice.
Rob, what's up, bro?
Joel with this question. What is the biggest lesson so far? Good, bad, and the ugly. Upfront contracts, I think, is the biggest lesson. And that's a very general statement for meaning a lot. Basically, you need to have everybody on the same page as soon as possible. Make sure you guys are on the same page. I think that's the biggest lesson I've learned just in general, because it could be applied to so many different things that we've learned. If we were all just on the same page, or if we're on the same page with the seller, just everybody being of the same understanding, I think would help a lot of issues, a lot of issues. And you guys are quiet today.
Yeah, where are the questions at?
I know. Normally we pop in here and in the first minute we're bombarded and we barely make it to the end of the day.
I know.
It seems to me like we got a lot of slackers in the house.
Yeah.
You guys don't have no questions because you're not out there hustling. That's why you don't have no questions. Let's see. Joel's got another one here. Well, that's a pretty good one, actually. It says, how can we bring agents and brokers along if it's not just a syndication? How is it usually in a JV deal for smaller, like 40 units? Do you want to take that one, Oscar?
Yeah, sure. So how can we bring agents and brokers along if it's not syndication? How's usually a JV deal if it's smaller for 40 units? Yeah. I mean, if it works out where the broker or the agent is, I'm assuming you're talking about them being part of the deal, right? How bring them along if it's not syndication? Is that what I'm getting at, Joseph? Is they want to bring them part of the deal?
Yeah, that's my understanding. Or
Yeah.
like how can they get paid, I guess. Both of those questions.
Yeah, so if you want to make them part of your deal, that's one way. If that's what you're talking about, Joel, or if you're just saying like how do they get paid on a JV one, it's by commission. So maybe I guess the only which way I would say is if you want them to be part of the deal, they can be, if they're local there, boots on the ground. They can still have a role in the JV, or you can maybe some of that commission can be going towards the deal, and they have upfront capital for you. I mean, there's different ways you can structure it, but I would definitely. Where's the disclaimer at, Joseph? I'm not an
Oh,
attorney. There we go. It
nope.
depends on the underwriting and returns for your investment. We're not CPAs or attorneys. uh,
I love those things.
yeah, no, I think
Those are
I
so
think that was.
good.
I'll give you an example, Joel. I was working with a realtor who was doing, I think it was a triplex or a fourplex. I don't remember. And he was part owner of the deal. And he said that if we were able to come up with anything creative, then he can do whatever on his part of his share, and he owned part of that deal. So he said if we can buy the other partners out, and I think there was two other people, then I would stay in and leave my equity as part of the deal, and you and I or whoever can hold it, and I can just have a silent role in that until I get until we exit that deal and I get paid. Plus, I still get some cash flow from me being in that deal or whatever. There's different ways to structure the deal. I know that sometimes if, like when we go to talk to brokers, I did this not too long ago on a walkthrough, and we always do this. So does Joseph. We ask the broker, "Hey, do you invest in real estate?" A lot of times you'll get them. They'll say no, which is kind of surprising because that's what they do, right? They're brokers for a very long time. And one of the things that you can do is they can roll some of that commission over into the deal and invest as an LP. But if it's not a syndication, then it'd just be a JV, right? I mean, it would have to be a role that they can play in order for them to be part of that deal. And I won't get into private money because that's, again, we're not CPAs or attorneys. I'm not soliciting or telling you what to do as far as financial advisors, but there's different ways to skin a cat for sure.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually brought that up, Oscar. I was going to touch on what you had just said about the brokers not necessarily being involved in deals. It is pretty crazy to me. And one thing I wanted to say is to your question, Joel, we asked the brokers if they want to invest in our deals with us.
Yeah.
That's our understanding with one of the brokers we have is that he's just going to take half of what he makes off the deal and just dump it right into the property. It wouldn't even go to him. It's just going to roll over into the deal. So he never will actually touch it. He'll get half of it, and the other half just goes into the deal. Is my understanding of what we talked about.
Hmm.
Um, I think that's awesome. I think you should try and do that with everybody you do, all the brokers. It's absolute because people don't offer that. You know what I mean? People don't offer that at all. It's not a common thing to do. The buyer broker relationship is exactly that. Hey, I buy the
Transactional.
property and pay you commission.
Hmm.
That's the end of the relationship, and sometimes it goes a little further than that. But if you can do things to set yourself apart, that's a good start for sure.
Yeah, it can be very transactional, especially if it's smaller units. But the thing that I think a lot of people don't think about, and this is one of the learning lessons to back to your question, Joe, now that you've got my brain working over here.
Mhm.
um, One of the things that when you do a deal with a broker or an agent, because they know you can perform, they'll keep bringing you deals because you were able to perform on the last one. You were able to close it. So they're going to be thinking of you the next time they have a deal, and it could be off market where it hasn't even hit the market yet. And they go to you, Joe, and be like, hey, I've got this deal coming up. What do you think? And you get first dibs on it because that's happened to us before. And I'm sure that whenever someone here in the chat does their first multifamily deal with a broker, when they see that you perform, they're going to keep bringing you more deals and the floodgates will open for you guys. So keep that in mind. Try not to make it a transactional type of deal only. Keep the relationship because it's going to go long term if you keep on nurturing that relationship.
Well said, man. Well said. Max says, how many deals are you guys looking at on a monthly/weekly basis? Well, it's a little difficult to answer now. It's not the same as what it was, just because we were not fully involved for like 2 weeks. DJ and I, we've been gone for like 2 weeks. So it's a lot less now, but before we were doing quite a bit. It was every day I'd have a deal to underwrite. Every day we would be getting updates from our brokers all the time, consistently. Okay, what do we need on this deal? What do we need on this deal? What are we missing for this? Have we already sent the LOI? What do they think about it? Right? You're constantly following up, not only with new deals, but with the same ones that you've been working on too. So you don't just get one, send an offer, and then see what happens, right? You want to follow up with them. It's the same game. It's in the follow up. The fortune is in the follow up, I think is the phrase. Because like Oscar just said, you want to stay relevant to them. You want to be the first person they think of when something comes along, even if it's not that deal that you're asking about. It could be something else completely. Like the one that we're working on now, it's not a slam dunk by any means. But what it is though is another property on our resume, and we're making the relationship with the broker, and he's already thinking about bringing us his next deals, because he told me, he said, hey, I think you guys have a property down in South Texas, right? And I was like, yeah, we do. He's like, oh, okay, well, you guys still looking for more? And we said, absolutely we are. He's like, well, I have one right now that they're not quite ready for you guys because they're asking overpriced. So he already knows what we're looking for. And he's like, but as soon as they get more realistic, I'll bring it right to you guys. So we're going to get the deal after he's already been beat up a couple times by other people, and then they're going to send it to us. And that's only come because Oscar's done such a good job building that relationship with this guy. So it's really cool to see all these things coming to fruition. I think is really awesome. It really is.
Well said.
Joel again. Is Joel my only question to answer, guys? Let's go. How is the deal with Jabs going? How much would you say is acceptable in repairs and CapEx? Lots of tired landlords coming up in this market, which will be open to seller finance. The deal is going. I don't know how much more I want to say than that. It is definitely going. It's work in progress. And then the answer to your second question is right here. It depends on the underwriting and the returns, right? Because if the underwriting says that the deal is good and you're about to spend $2 million in CapEx, who cares, right? You're going to raise the money anyways. As long as the underwriting says that the numbers are still good for you and the investors, who cares? Just do it. Do the deal. First, if it's the same, if you can get in, obviously, and spend less money, that's great. That's better, right? But it really just comes down to the underwriting. That's honestly the answer every time. And I know you guys are probably tired of me saying that, but it truly, truly is the answer. You just really got to get rock solid with the underwriting, or get somebody who's rock solid with their underwriting. Darth Jader, how can I get more deals sent to me? Good question. That is a great question. Do you have an answer, Oscar? I mean, I have one, but I want to let you in on this too.
Go ahead, bro.
Okay, so the best thing you can do is just to get known. Just get known. You're not going to see the fruits of your labor right away. It's just not going to happen. It's laying down the foundation over and over and over again without seeing the results. You're not going to see those results until a few months down the road, really. So the more people that you can get in front of, telling them what you're doing, what you're looking for, and constantly stick with these people, following up with them. Hey, how's it going? Just wanted to check in, see if anything's changed. Do you have any more deals fitting this criteria? Blah, 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 right? If you constantly get in front of new people and then follow up with those people, it's going to be a game changer for you. And if you can go to more meetups, talk to different people, help more people. Like Jada, you've been around for a little bit now. You're starting to understand it. You're working with us a little bit now. So reach out to those people that are asking, how can I get involved? How can I start this? Right? Be that resource for them. So that way when they have a question, when they have help, you can be the person to help them, and they're going to be more inclined to bring you a deal to help you work on. So that's my advice on how you can get more deals, is to get known by everyone. Just everyone.
Yeah, I was going to say the same.
That, that. Jake Salada.
You know,
How did you guys?
I've been thinking a lot about his question, right?
Oh, you saw it?
Jake says, "How did you guys get started in real? How did you guys start in real estate?" And we all have our stories, but I think, Joseph, this is a good topic for us to probably come back to maybe this Friday, just to get some of the newer people who are starting to get into multifamily and talk about it. So why don't we do this? Why don't we put the Zoom link or the Zoom.million-dollar upside in the chat? So those of you like Jake who maybe want to know how to get into real estate or how we got into real estate, you guys can sign up for that Zoom. It's free for this Friday. Maybe we can touch up on that, Joseph, on how we got started.
Yeah, yeah. It's a good story too. It's a good story. I mean, ours definitely. It was because of COVID, to be honest. COVID effed us up, and that's me and KJ, and then we had to start all over. That's a little sneak peek, I guess. But I like your idea. We could definitely. I think we could host a whole Zoom on that question. And we are seeing a lot more newer people, so I do like that idea. Also, for everybody that had the previous website, we've changed the domain. The old one will still work. It'll take you to the new one. But instead of JBM Legacy, it's Million Dollar Upside. So we wanted to just keep with the brand. We're trying to set everything up to be, what's the word? Is very fluid and all.
It's like standardizing everything.
Yeah, we're trying to get everything to look uniform. We don't want to have a bunch of different names. So it's a work in progress of what we're doing. So there's the link. Oscar put it in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also the new domain there.
Everyone, if you haven't signed up for the free Zooms on Friday, do it now. That way you can be ready to go. We'll talk about how we got started in real estate and what we did in order for us to get from 0 to 70 units in 7 months in multifamily. Don't miss it, guys. Be on that Zoom. Jake, I'm looking at you, bro.
Okay. I see Joel has another question here. What do you guys personally do to keep the relationship going with brokers, especially with a lot of people calling them in the multifamily challenge? I don't think we do anything like drastically different. I really don't. I think we're genuine. Exactly how we're talking to you guys is how we talk to them. I mean, we're not doing anything crazy other than showing what we've learned, and our genuineness comes through pretty clearly. And I'm not trying to be like a big headed or anything. But when you truly are being honest and genuine with the people, they can feel that and they like that. And I'll tell people straight up if I don't like something. It's probably one of my strengths and weaknesses, but I really will. And I think a lot of people like that, and a lot of people don't like that. So it's really just your personality, right? Just be yourself, really. That's the only advice I can give you. It's just to be yourself. As along with all the other things that we've told you, being just straightforward and honest, I think will get you a long way. Even if you're new, just tell them, hey, I'm new, but I'm committed to doing this. I am working with a group of people to find deals, and I'm super, super gung ho about making this work. Tell them your goals. Just be straightforward. Be honest. It's gonna help you a lot. All right, Philip's in the house. What's up, Philip? He says, if I have a multifamily under contract and you guys help me raise the funds. Absolutely. Where'd that banner go, Oscar?
Well, which
Oh, there's a new banner.
which
Yeah.
one?
The underwriting. Yeah, we can definitely help you raise the funds, but it just depends on the underwriting, right? If that's solid, then absolutely we can help you out there. But yeah, if you have something, Phil, just reach out to me. I think you have my phone number. Just reach out and we can definitely put something together. I'd love to be able to do that, man.
There we go. Figure it out.
There we go. There we go. Okay. Let's see. Oh, he asked the same. All right. Jaden says, after doing the napkin underwriting, what do you look for to say deal or no deal? Like what
Well,
criteria?
you know what I do look at right now? I'm looking at Jaden's picture. I'm like, damn, bro, look at your guns, man. Those are deadly.
I told him the same thing whenever we were meeting on that Oklahoma deal that didn't pan out.
Yeah.
I told him the same thing. It's so funny. Um, yeah. So what I look for is it's where's that banner again? It's the same one, man. It's the returns for the investors. That's the first thing I check every time. I put in the criteria or the terms that they've given us so far, whether that's go get your own loan for a new debt, or you can assume this loan, or we're open to doing something creative, right? I'll take what they've said, try and get as close as possible to that, but keeping our returns good. And then I'll start playing with it from there. Um, the napkin underwrite is really just to figure out, should I go to this next step? Should I spend the time doing the deep dive that's going to take me an hour to 2 hours to really figure out if this property is worth it or not? And if so, what value is it worth, at
Mhm.
least to us? Um, so the main things I want to see is a good amount of returns for the investors with a relatively quick exit. I typically want to see at least an equity multiple of like 2 or greater. I would do something smaller than equity of 2, equity multiple of 2, but 2 is like, that's great. If you could double your money in whatever period of time, like we typically look for a 5 year sell or transition. If it's a C class, we don't want to be in it forever. But if we can do 5 years and double your money, that's awesome. I'd love to do that all day.
Mhm.
All day is what I would look for. So it really just depends on each deal. Every deal is going to be different. I want to see good returns, good numbers for my investors. That's ultimately what I'm looking for.
Yep.
You want to add to that, Oscar?
Nope, you got it, bro. You're the underwriter. I'm just here. I'm happy to be here.
I love when you say that, man. Okay. Philip is still working on that deal, waiting for the seller to accept his offer. Philip, good job, bro. So proud of you, man. You've been crushing it, dude.
Keep following
Uh,
up, bro. You got
I was
this.
just about to say, keep following up. He's gonna do something. He's gonna do something.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. The $1 million baby. Let's see. Oh, there's KJ chiming in on what I was saying about the brokers. She's our resident broker person, our broker whisperer.
Yeah.
There you go. So it's KJ approved. So that means it's good to go, guys. KJ says, what kind of content do you guys want to see? Is Q&As still beneficial to you guys? Do we need to switch things up? Give us feedback. Please
Ooh.
do, guys. We are here for y'all. If we're not being beneficial for y'all, let us know. Like tell us that we're not doing what you need, and tell us what you need, and we'll do our best to absolutely give it to you.
Yeah,
I mean, that's what we're
100%.
here for.
Yeah, that was a good one, KJ. Yeah, why don't you guys put it in the chat and just let us know what you guys are looking for? And it doesn't even have to be for a Q&A on Monday. It can be like for a Friday Zoom or something like that, and we can talk on that topic.
Good stuff. Way to go, babe. Even from the sidelines with the baby on the boob, she's still out here working. Way to go.
What would we do without KJ?
What a trooper. All right, we got another one from May May. how did you guys find each other? What are each of your roles? Beautiful question, May.
It's my
We love
mind.
it. Oh, it's my bad, bro. So I guess my bad to you, my. I apologize.
I may be
Unless I was right and Oscar was
I
wrong, but
know.
he.
If it was right, put a 1 in the chat. If it was wrong, put a 2 in the chat.
Oh man. Okay, so I think you should touch on that, man. I think you're an amazing storyteller, and you
Okay.
brought us together, man. You were the one.
Sure. Well, my, yes, I got it right. I told you, bro. Yes.
Nice,
All right.
nice.
So, how we met each other. A funny story is Ione and I were just doing multifamily. Like we were just doing multifamily and putting the stuff that we were learning out there, and also reaching out to people who needed help in multifamily. Like the reason why we got into multifamily, we wanted to do it from the beginning. We started off in single family because that's what we thought we had to do, right? We thought we had to go through single family first and then eventually get to the point where we thought we felt good enough to get into multifamily and then start doing multifamily. So that's how we thought at first. But what really forced us to get into multifamily was that we had a partner who was doing the zero to hero challenge with pace. And in the zero to hero challenge, it's a blueprint. It tells you what to do step by step. And they got to the point where they were wanting to pull a list of like sellers that they were wanting to contact. And for whatever reason, they chose multifamily and sellers. And it was smaller multifamily. I think it's anywhere from like 0 to like 20 units or something like that. They just pulled a list and I knew them because they were a mutual friend of mine and they small world, they just happened to be in real estate and we got together and we hit it off. And so they knew that I was already doing it. They knew I was in sub 2 and they were like, "Man, why don't we just like if we bring you any leads, why don't we just like send them to you and you can help us close it since you're a closer?" And I was like, "Sure. I don't know anything about multifamily, but I'll do it." And so they kept bringing us a bunch of leads that were multifamily. And eventually we got a lead that was hot and it was in Dallas. And I think it was 24 units, but they weren't your traditional multifamily apartments. They were duplexes, a total of 24 doors. And that was our true first multifamily deal that we worked on. And we had no idea what we were doing, like absolutely no idea. As a matter of fact, we preach about being open, honest, and transparent to your brokers. This one was direct to seller. So I was completely open and honest and transparent with the seller. And I told them from the beginning, I was like, look, man, I don't know anything about multifamily. This would be, if we did this deal, if you gave me the opportunity, this would be my first multifamily deal. And immediately that brought him back, the seller, to when he first started doing multifamily. He goes, "This deal that I'm selling you right now was my first multifamily deal that I've ever done." And that's what got him in the door. So then he started working with me and me exclusively. And he would call me up almost every single day wanting to figure something out with me. Although at that point I didn't know how to really underwrite it, so we were definitely overpaying. And of course he was like trying to work with me and trying to get me because I was like figuring this out, right? So he was like, "Man, I think I got this sucker." I don't know, maybe. Right? And so um we started learning a bunch of different things and I started bringing that deal to different people and learning and just learning and growing and learning and getting into the right rooms where eventually we did a bunch of stuff and we kind of put it out there and for some reason I don't know why somehow KJ heard about me and Ione doing multifamily. And this from when she reached out to me, we were already done with this deal. It wasn't a deal, by the way, but it taught us a lot, right? That's what got us into the multifamily. And we started to give, and we started to work, figure things out on the fly. But for whatever reason, KJ reached out to me one day and she goes, something like, "Hey, we heard you're in multifamily. We'd love to set up a Zoom with you and chat with you." And so KJ actually reached out to me and then we jumped on a Zoom either that same day or I think the next day. I don't remember, but it was quickly after she reached out to me. And in that call, believe it or not, our freaking amazing underwriter here, Joseph, didn't even know anything about multifamily, didn't even know what a T12 what it even stood for, didn't know anything about an OM, didn't know anything about a rent roll. He had no idea. So I remember showing him what a T12 looked like that same day and kind of breaking it down to the best of my knowledge because I'm not an underwriter. I was just going off of what Ione was telling me. Ione is my partner, by the way. She's my girlfriend as well. She's an amazing, amazing underwriter, integrator, you name it. She's the brains of the operations. Again, I'm just happy to be here. But really my that's how we met is KJ somehow reached out to me. She heard about me. I'm not sure how. I think even until this
Yeah.
day, she doesn't even know how, but it's somehow I think it's just God who put us together. And from there we just started doing things for like every day. We decided, hey, why not? Let's work with each other. At first it didn't start off that way, Mai. We were just showing up every day, kind of just figuring things out as we went and helping each other. And then at some point we sat down and we said, okay, why don't we do this as a team? And then it just kind of transformed from there. So that's essentially the story. There's more to it, but that's how we got to know each other. And that's how we started doing this whole journey together.
Yeah. So what are our roles? The
Ah,
second part.
second part. Well, let's go back to the beginning. Back in 1982. Now, kidding. The roles are for myself. I'm typically the one who's doing the deal structure and raising capital, and also alongside with KJ, I help out with negotiations and broker outreach when she needs me. So I'm typically the person who's uh, making sure that things get done. I'm also coordinating a lot of the deals that we do. So I do a lot of the due diligence material and make sure that everything is going according to plan with title, with the attorney, with the brokers, with the contract, and with all the inspections and everything that comes with due diligence, and some stuff after closing with or after due diligence like syndication and deal structure. So that's kind of it. Ione, I'll speak on her. Ione does everything in the background. She does all the underwriting. She does all the a lot of the brains in the background that she's thinking about different strategies that we can come up with. Very creative. Um, what do you call a critical thinker? Uh,
Mhm.
and she's definitely one of the backbones to the business because she's
Definitely.
always learning and growing and getting more involved in the underwriting. So if I ever have any questions about underwriting, I go to Joseph or I go to Ione, and they always help me out with all that stuff. So I just articulate it, but I don't really get involved with that because that's their strength and it's not my strength. But yeah,
Yeah, man. Oscar's he's you heard him say a lot, but he does more than that too. Super, super awesome guy. You guys need to get an Oscar and a Yoni on your team. That's for sure. That's for sure. I'll be short and sweet. I do underwriting. I do some asset management. I talk to lenders. I'm more so the guy that if something needs to get done, I'm that guy. I go and do it. I'm the go do it guy pretty much for the most part. That's the best way to sum up my job, really. Especially just being with how our team is. We're pretty flexible on the roles, and as long as somebody can get it done, that person will get it done, right? And we're a little bit of a awkward transition period because KJ and I we just had a baby, so she's not even working right now. I just started working like middle of last week, so it's been a rough transition. KJ does the social media for us. That's why we haven't really had a lot of presence online. So we've definitely been hurting on that front. So I've noticed our numbers have dwindled a little bit. So spread the word, guys. We're still here. We just don't have our social media queen taking care of that. She also is the broker whisperer, does all of that, like Oscar said, and handles the upfront negotiations with the brokers and sellers and things like that.
lead source.
Yeah, our huge elite source.
Hmm.
Sometimes I'll hop on the phone with sellers. Like I said, I'm just the go do it guy. I help a lot of people. I'm in charge of the team that we're building. So we all play a lot of hats. To be honest, there's no one role that we fit into anymore. We said that in the beginning, but it's just metamorphosed into something totally different now. So
Hmm.
always growing and changing, evolution. That's what we're all about here.
Yeah.
So very long-winded answer, but I hope that gave a good idea of kind of where we came from a little bit and what we're doing now. And for those of you that have been watching, that's a little bit of a different answer than we've given before. So I hope that just spotlights the changes that we're making in the team.
Yeah, I
So
know. And if you highlight KJ's message, I mean, it's
where
incredible
is it?
what one action. I'll do it here in a second. This one. Look, it's so crazy thinking back how one small
Mm.
action can change so many things. Like imagine if KJ didn't reach out to me. Like, and then the one right after that from Max, right? KJ and Joseph, it's amazing that so many doors have opened up for me and so many other people just because you sent that message.
Oh, I love that.
Bro.
Awesome. Oh yeah, I'm glad we're like making a difference and helping some people out. That's what we're doing this for. And you just had to bring that one back up, man. Uh, but for real, guys, I mean, we try to just give back. We were in the shoes of not knowing anything, and so we're just trying to help uh, be a resource and a stepping stone for people to grow, and that's what we're all here for. All right, let's do the next one.
Yep.
What markets are you guys currently working in? It's a good question. Um, Quite a few, actually, as far as where we would go, but where we're currently in, like where we currently have properties, is Texas and Tennessee.
Mhm.
But I've looked at deals in Oklahoma. I've looked at deals in Colorado. I've looked at deals in Louisiana, in Florida, North Carolina, Georgia. There was one in Alabama. There was one in Arkansas and Arizona, and I think that's all of them so far. I mean, there's been a couple others that we just not really interested in, like most of the Northeast and the West Coast. Not necessarily a fan of those markets, but that's just where we are at currently. So
Mhm.
we're open to a lot of places. Uh, would we ever run through some hypothetical numbers on past opportunities that were passed on? I'm not entirely sure the question.
Maybe like some deals that we looked at and just passed on them, like numbers. I guess that's what you mean, Darth
Hmm.
Jader.
Hmm.
Perhaps for a Zoom, maybe in the future.
It's
I
not a
don't.
bad idea. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that one of the suggestions that you have? What should we like? What we should do? That was a question earlier, guys. If you hopped on just now and don't know what I'm talking about, is if you guys are looking for something specific that you would like for us to speak on, like a topic, put it in the chat and let us know. That way we can bring the value that you guys are looking for.
Yeah. And here's another thing that he was talking about. Can we do deal rundown, structuring? How do you negotiate and close this with the sellers and brokers, even hypothetical? Um, we actually, on that underwriting Zoom, we did go through quite a bit of that. The only thing that we didn't go through is doing the actual negotiations with the
Mhm,
sellers and broker.
mhm.
Um, so we do have a couple Zooms on that already. But hey, if the people want more, we can do more.
Yep. I'll tell you.
Jaden, oh, go ahead.
No, I said I'll tell you a subject that I or a topic that I'm going to cover eventually with Joseph and KJ and Ione, and that'll be market analysis. That's one I want to cover. So look out for that, guys. I'm working on that so we can bring you value.
Jaden just says, "What can I do to best bring value to the group?" Bro, bring deals and problems. That's the best thing you can do. And then do those deals with us and people in the chat
Mhm.
and ask the questions to the problems you've got so people here can learn and we can get better by teaching it. And if we don't know it, we go and find the answer because we have the resources to where we can get all these questions answered, even if we don't know it.
Mhm.
That's something that we have as an advantage but we paid for that advantage. So, that's what you had to do before we started doing this and before the Elephant Challenge and Vina and doing all this stuff. You had to pay to get any of this knowledge. Now we're just giving it out like candy on Halloween.
And I love Halloween.
Yes, he does. He does love Halloween.
Favorite.
Joelle says, have you guys thought about or done a Morby method yet in multifamily? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, sorry. Long night.
That's the dad life right there.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. How would you handle the large down payments? So where's that banner again? It really just depends on the underwriting, right? If the numbers from the deal can support raising that large of a down payment, raising whatever the down payment is, because whatever you have to bring cash to close, you have to go raise that. That's at least the model we have. We don't have that money sitting around, so we either need to go raise it from other people like you guys, or raise it from one person that just has all the money, and typically they will just want to be a part of the deal, like a general partner in the deals. So there's multiple ways that can be done, but if you don't have it, you got to go get it from somebody else. If you have to go get it from somebody else, they're going to want some kind of return from the deal, whether that's equity, like a partnership in the deal, or just straight up LP relationship where they're just getting returns on their money. So that's how you would handle it. As long as the numbers support it, let's do it. Oh, we got some Ionis in the chat.
Hey, Team Ione. She'd appreciate that. Thank you, guys. Thank you for shouting.
Philip says, I'm open to JVing with anyone in this room for multifamily. There you go, guys.
Yeah, reach out to Philip, and he's a follow-up king too. I mean, you want someone to follow up on your deals, so reach out to Philip.
Martha says, if we find a deal that we can wholesale, would you consider it, or you only deal with sub 2 members? Definitely. Yeah. We would absolutely buy a deal. We don't mind paying wholesale fees to deals as long as it's reasonable. If you come to us with a 3% buyer's fee and all you've done is given us the financial information and that's it, that's probably not going to happen. And I say probably, meaning like it's definitely not going to happen. Not at that rate. So when we would wholesale a deal and we're going to do a lot of the groundwork because we know what needs to get done, we only ask for 0.5% to 1%, depending on how much room is on the table, right? And that's what we're asking for, and we're doing a lot of the legwork. So just keep that in mind when you are looking to, if you are looking to wholesale multifamily. It's not impossible, but it's also not the easiest thing to do. It's not the same way you would do it in single family. KJ has done quite a few YouTube lives on that topic. So if you're interested in doing that, definitely look it up. Just go type in $1 Million Upside on YouTube. It's there. The information's there. But we don't mind paying the fees as long as it makes sense. If it fits the numbers.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, reloaded. Olga says, congrats. Thank you, Olga. Hi, Julie. Hi, Olga. Good to see some returning folks. Andrea. Love it, guys. Love to see you guys all showing up again and again.
Jose's in the house too. What's up, Jose?
Jose, my brother. Okay. What is this? I think this is the question. As with multifamily, should we also look into REO multifamily deals? Do you know what an REO multifamily deal is?
Probably real estate owned, like bank stuff.
Oh, yep. Makes sense. You want to touch on that one?
Sure. I'm doing a napkin underwriting for 66 units REO property, or just stay away from for now. I've never done one before, Philip, but I wouldn't discourage. If it's an auction, then I would say for us particularly, we're not looking at auctions. Typically, an auction would require money up front, like cash. But if it's REO, then you're dealing with a bank. So there could be something there, but I don't know the process. Um, Actually, if you find something like that that works out and it's REO and you're talking to the lender or the bank or whoever and you guys got a deal, then let me know because I would be at this point it doesn't fit our buy box just because we're focused on what we're focused on, but I don't think that it's a bad thing as long as you aren't running around chasing every shiny object. I think for sure just stick to something and get good at it and let us know from there or just stay laser focused on your goal.
Beautiful. I love it. KJ said helping share content would mean the world. So now you guys have to do it because she asked for it. If it was me, you didn't have to do it, but she asked for it.
Do it for KJ. She's super mom right now.
Tony said dad life is rough. Try being the oldest of 10. Man, that's oh, and Julie says dad practice for free. That's funny, man. I love it. That's funny. Okay. Okay. Looking for the next. Oh, I want to touch on this. He said, I want to point this part out. He says, Joel says, why do people do 3% buyer's fees, which makes no sense? Correct. I agree. It doesn't make no sense. It doesn't make sense in most cases. Sometimes it might. That's like 1%, maybe 1% that it might make sense. Aren't they supposed to get it under contract where it underwrites and makes sense, then get it at discount? That's the part I wanted to bring up. When we would wholesale a deal, if we were to buy a deal from a wholesaler and it was already under contract, that is a huge red flag for us because we want to have our attorneys review the contract and draft the contract for each and every deal. So for us to go, it's not wrong by any means. You're not doing it wrong, but it's a good point to bring up because most buyers are going to want to have their attorneys draft and review their contracts before anybody signs anything. Because as soon as you sign it, that timer, that clock starts going. You're already losing out. So the best thing to do is to get an NDA or non-circumvent with that buyer and then get the process started if that's the way you want to go. I would not get the contract signed, then try and wholesale it. That's the wrong way to go about it. And that's what I mean about single family is different from multifamily.
Right.
So I'm glad you brought that up, Joel, because it's a good point to make.
And that would be maybe smaller multifamily would be okay, Joel. Like maybe like your triplex, quads, and maybe even less than 10. But if you're talking about the type of deals that we would do with an attorney and syndicate, then yeah, for sure. I would definitely not proceed unless I know for a fact that I'm the one controlling it going forward.
100%. Okay. Look at that. Jose making waves in the side chat. I love it, bro. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. There we go. Now, Jose's got a question. It says, do you guys have an attorney on retainer or is it deal and state specific hires? That's all you, brother. You're the attorney guy.
Man, Jose, I got a good story for you, bro. The first attorney I spoke to in Tennessee, he gave me a he really let me have it, man.
Give you a lashing, bro.
He tore me a new one, bro. It was a great story. So to answer your question, some attorneys have a retainer, some don't, depending on the relationship that you have with them. So the one that we did a couple deals with, they did have a retainer, but because they came referred through someone, we had a discount, I guess you can say. But be prepared during your underwriting and during your due diligence period that you will have to have upfront capital to cover some of these costs, right? The attorney is still going to either be on a retainer or they're more than likely, if they're not on a retainer, they're going to be on an hourly basis and flat fees, right? Depending on what you want them to do. You may have two attorneys in that case. You may have one that's just for the contract itself, and then you may have a separate one that's just for the syndication process. So depending on those attorneys, one may say I have a retainer, or both say that I have retainers for both of them, or one may say just an hourly for the contract, and the other one may say I have a retainer. It just depends, but be prepared for that because the retainers can be a little hefty upfront, especially if you don't have a relationship with them and that's the first time you're working with them. I would definitely screen them, or if you know someone who's doing something in that state, I would get a referral, and it's typically state specific. It doesn't have to be, but it's sometimes it's better because they understand the law in that specific state. So they'll even tell you that some of them do, right? Like, hey, we do this, but we would recommend that any contract stuff that you're doing in that state, you would get a local attorney. So just be on the lookout for both of those items when you're doing your attorney research.
Beautiful. Love it. I want to point this one out. Facebook user. So the people that are commenting, actually, I think everybody, I think you might be the only Facebook user. So when you sign in on Facebook and go through the multifamily group page, this is what it's going to show up as. It won't show as your name, and everybody is on YouTube. So it's definitely the better spot to go and watch this so you can interact in the chat and we know who you are as well. So I definitely, for the next time, since we're almost out of time, I definitely recommend using the YouTube channel as the your platform for viewing. So that way you can be involved in the side chat as well. Just friendly reminder. Martha says, when did you guys start on the sub 2 program and how long until you did your first deal? That's a good question. Good question. I guess I'll go first and then you follow. We started sub 2 December 2020. And then we had already done one deal prior to that, like 5 or 6 months before that. And our second deal was 3 months after joining sub 2, I believe, something like that. I think it was like early March. So it was like 3.5 months, something like that. And everybody's different, right? We got our first deal without sub 2 and less than a month, but it took us another 8 months, 9 months to get the next one. You know what I mean? So everybody's story is going to be different. That's just KJ and I's story. There's and we can go into that more on, I guess, on that Zoom when we go deep dive into how we got into real estate. I think that's a good idea, Oscar, for our next Zoom. I think it's a good topic. So take it away, Oscar.
Yeah. So we started real sub 2 in, I think, March of 21, I think. So right after you guys, or a couple of months after you guys. And then before that, we were in real estate about a year, I think, or 2 years. No, we started in 2019. Yeah, we started in 2019. So we had done a deal before we joined sub 2, only one, and then we joined sub 2. And then after joining sub 2, about 3 months in, we got our next deal. And then just started doing a few deals after that, but nothing too big. Just a few deals right after that, but they were all wholesale deals. So again, everyone's story is different. Like what Joseph said, we had just been the gap when we first started in 2019 to when we joined sub 2, we got a lot of shiny object syndrome. So we probably could have done a lot more had we focused on what we needed to focus, but we just yeah, being new, we shiny object. So that's why I say if you guys are in here, you're doing multifamily, being laser focused will help out a lot. Trust me,
Oh,
get there quicker.
and being disciplined. That
Mhm.
was my problem. KJ's and I's problem is we were just not disciplined. And we were like the typical wholesalers. We made a huge payday and it did not go into the right spots. And not that we were spending it crazily, right? But we did not know where money should be spent and how to spend it most efficiently. Uh, we lost like 12 or 13,000 in marketing because we just we were not at the level to handle all of that, and we didn't know better. We're just like, well, if we spend money, we'll make money, right? So that's not exactly how it works. You have to be ready to handle the leads coming in and everything that goes along with it. So huge learning lesson. Huge learning lesson. I think we only got like 2 more questions here, and here's one of them. It says, does the 0.5% to 1% go to the wholesaler, or does it split between the entire acquisition team? I'm just reading. Okay, yeah. So it depends on what you're asking exactly, right? If it's a wholesale fee, then yes, it's going to go to the wholesaler. But if it's the acquisition fee, that's the fee that you pay yourself as a general partner up front. So you're going to pay yourself typically 1 to 3% of an acquisition fee. And that is split between all of the general partners. So it's 2 different things. A wholesale fee and acquisition fee are 2 different things. The wholesale fee is just to the wholesaler for finding the deal, like a regular wholesale transaction. Then there's the acquisition fee that you pay yourself as the manager of the deal. You're going to pay yourself that for managing the deal, acquiring it, going through all of the work and the due diligence, all of the upfront stuff. That's a lot of stuff to do. That gets split between all of the general partners. So 2 different things.
Yep.
Okay, and then there was one more question. Joel said, how are your other businesses going, and how is it running or being managed while running the multifamily side? You're looking at it, bro. We do it. We do it all. We wear a lot of hats. Like I said in the beginning, we wear a lot of hats, and we are trying to delegate a lot of that off and have people, working with us to find single family and do different things like that. So if you're interested, let us know. We're always looking for more additions to the team. So yeah, I mean, right now the answer, Joel, is we're doing it all. That's the answer. We're doing it all, and we're trying to get out of that role. We got to exceed our goals, and we got to grow to get there. So we know what the next steps need to be, and we're currently working on that right now. Okay, I see one. Oh, Joel said he's interested. Yeah, hit us up, bro. Hit us up. We can definitely talk about it. Tony says, for your guys' business, do you have one email/number for all your businesses, or do you have a separate one for each LLC? And if one email/number, is it held in the holding company or the main one? That's a mouthful. So Oscar and I, we have individual single family businesses. So they have their own LLCs and their own phone numbers and emails associated with that. And then for multifamily, we have one holding LLC, which is the main one that we use. And then for every single property that we acquire, we create a new LLC that property goes under, and that LLC is owned by our holding LLC. So it all funnels back to one. And then as far as the email and phone number, everything multifamily all is under the same email, and we use our own personal phone numbers because multifamily is about relationships and building that with people. So if I can give someone my personal phone number and they feel special, like, man, I got this person's personal, perfect. You just set yourself up a little bit more rather than a business number and it goes to like an answering service or whatever, right? I know you guys have all been there when you're calling some service and you have to go through like a voice recorded message. And you're sitting there yelling at the phone, representative, I want a representative, right? Well, we don't have to do that. They just call and it goes to one of us directly. I hope that answered the question. I had to deal with that recently. Funny. All right, we'll answer this last question. She says, do you purchase multifamily properties as sub two? Take it away, Oscar. You asked this question before, so I know you know.
Yes, Julianne, we do. We do. If you have one, let us know. Or if you know anybody that has one, let us know. Yes, we do purchase multifamily properties as sub two. You can definitely do it. I've spoken to someone who's done it before, and I trust them because they're very, very, very savvy, and they're in the creative finance. Creative finance. They coined creative finance, so coming straight from the horse's mouth. Yes, it's possible. You can do it. I would definitely look at it for sure.
Definitely. So if you got one, let us know. We're interested. I think that's it. We have nothing else left, and we're out of time anyways. So, Oscar, any closing remarks or statements?
Yeah, I think the only thing I have is, guys, if you haven't registered for the Zooms that we do every Friday, again, the link is right there in the banner at the bottom, right? The zoom.milliondollarupside.com, and join, because we're also going to have some special things going forward for all the people that are signing up with us. And a lot of value, a lot of great things coming. I can't say what we're working on just yet, but it's a lot of good stuff. I mean, Joseph and I spent and are still going to spend more time today working on the back end stuff. So we have a lot of things coming your way, guys, and I think you guys will benefit from, especially if what you're wanting to do is multifamily. This is going to be just for you. So we're excited. Just sign up for that link right there at the bottom, and look out for our emails because it'll be coming out soon. I can't say when, but it will be coming out soon. So we're excited.
We're trying to get everything systemized and looking nice and neat and pretty for you guys. So it's a work in progress.
Yeah,
Well,
for sure.
that's all I got, man. I hope we brought lots of value to you guys. I hope that we'll see you guys again on Friday. Friday morning, we do our good, the bad, and the ugly. Basically, a little rundown as far as what we went through this week and what went well, what didn't go well, things that we may have learned. We do it as like a recording of our experience, but also so that you guys can get value from some of the things that we go through and some of our mistakes that we make, because we're human. We don't know all the answers, but we do our best to learn as much as we can and provide those learning lessons to you guys as well, so you don't have to lose money. So that's all I got. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we're gonna hit a little outro. Bye, guys.